All right, welcome officially again. Welcome back. I am so excited to finally be back. I kind of took a couple of days off, sick days, we'll call them, and nursed a little bit of a cough, and here I am. Here you are as well, which is the most important part of this is you joining in to be part of this activation. And so today, I kind of had little topics, little ideas for each day, and they've changed based on messages that I receive in my meditation. One of my favorite questions to ask during my meditations, and this is in the morning sometimes or immediately prior to a session, for example, like right before this one, how am I needed to serve? How am I needed to serve today? And boy, when I fight it and I hear that just take care of your family today, don't do any work or any live streams or even think about it. And when I fight that, I can feel the chaos. So I'm still learning to trust the responses that I get, because I definitely always like when I get something that's right on. I knew I was going to do this live stream, and I tuned in a little bit before this as to what code to use, what second code, because my first one that I wanted to do, even since last night, I had this really strong urge to do it. And it wasn't out of order. This is the grief transmutation into joy and a sense of humor code of awe. A long title, grief transmutation into joy and sense of humor code of awe. And so I knew I wanted to work with this one yesterday very deeply. And the holidays are the kind of time of year where even if it's been a number of years, if we have grief, if we have family members that have passed on and transitioned, it brings it up, even if it's just a grieving over a period of your life that's over now and it's just different. Some of us are in a new situation, some big changes have happened in your life, for example, and you're like, think back and you're like, wow, it's way different than it was last year. And as exciting as that can be, it also can carry with it a fair amount of grief. And so not only this code is really, really powerful whenever you need to take a journey where grief is present. And in fact, let me show you the code while I'm talking. What am I doing not showing the code? Here's the code. I think it's beautiful. Some of these codes in their simplicity, they're so amazing, because it isn't until you really start to look at them and to let them look at you. I meant that, that you really start to see some of the detail and the intricacies. And just knowing that, when Yvonne Delafleur created these codes, she took, say, for example, these keywords: humor, grief, greed, anger, sad, depression, stuck, envy, jealousy, loss, joy, divorce, death. She took all of these. I would even throw in a couple more keywords that this code has been helpful for me. And I'm not even sure if they're keywords, but I use this code quite a bit when I'm grieving my previous life. And believe, I wanted to be a mother. I planned my entry into motherhood, but I didn't plan the emotions and, to some extent, the journey of postpartum depression and anxiety that I've taken. I didn't plan that. And so when I look back at my life before and the life I intended as a mom, because we have these rose-colored glasses, and it thinks it's always going to be perfect, it's going to be fabulous, and then it's not always perfect and fabulous. There's some fabulous times, and there's some times that are pure perfection, but there's also some times that are kind of messy and filled with a lot of emotions and lack of control on both ends, mine and my children. So this is a code that I use quite a bit when I'm looking at this cycle. And it's so interesting that I've been learning about archetypes and the hero's journey. And it's this cycle of birth. We live, we experience this need to say goodbye to a part of who we are, this death, and then this rebirth. Okay, so it's birth, this death, rebirth, and it's this beautiful cycle. And when we're alive and it happens, as much as it's filled with some tumultuous points, like think about real birth and actual birth, whether you are give birth naturally, without a cesarean section, or whether you're involved in a cesarean. I've had both. So you think about that and you're like, that's not an easy process. Okay. You just don't do it every day. Your body goes through months of preparation. And even when you get a C-section, it's almost reverse preparation. You go through months of longer recovery than with let's say a normal delivery, for example, where you don't have a lot of interventions. So, and then there's everything, becoming a mother. So you I don't even want to get into that. So it's messy. So when we're going through these cycles in our life, where we're dying, where part of us is dying off, and then another part of us is being reborn, what part of us should think that should be pretty and easy and anything that's cosmopolitan or fabulous to experience? It's kind of messy, and you really want privacy. And you really just want the people that are close to you and that have your back. It's not an experience where you're like, yeah, let's just show it to the world. And this is the kind of thing that, we have these stages in our life. And then once you go through that process and you look back, you can grieve this part of your life where you're like, oh, I had no idea what this next part of my life was going to be about, but I still grieve that person whom I am. So that's what I use this code quite a bit for. And I know there's a lot of people who can probably recognize that same experience. Maybe it's not motherhood for you, maybe it's something, maybe it's deciding to go back to school, for example, as an adult and saying, oof, it's not like it was when I was 19. Okay. When you're 45 or 50 and you're going back to school, you're not 19 going to school the first time, like for college, for example. So there might be like you grieve whatever experience you intended for it to be. So this is a really beautiful code for that. And I know you've all been looking at it, and you're looking at it and you're like, what is it doing? And hopefully you've taken some of my previous live streams on these codes of awe, because the more you look at it, and again, the first class is all about relaxing your eyes. I taught about this and I showed you the magic eye picture where you wait for an image to pop out. That's what you're doing here. And I think this code most especially has a lot of hidden images that can start popping. It almost starts to look like a solar system in there. You've got the bright sun in the center, or the mantle, the flower, the mandala that it is. And then you have all these, for me, I'm seeing it as a solar system right now. The great cosmos. Everything that is beyond. And so if you're dealing with more traditional grief, if you've had a loved one that's passed away, and this is your inner child grieves too, even if you're older and you've lost loved ones from a previous time, whether it's recent or whether it's been a while, it's good to step back in that place and honor your inner child and the person, the little girl or the boy who lost that person, whether it was 10 years ago or more recently. And you hold him or her and you let them know that it's not okay right now, but it will be okay. And it's okay for it not to be okay right now. It's okay. And if you're grieving a situation where your life has changed and you didn't intend on that change in the manner that it occurred, you say, it's okay. It's okay for it not to be okay right now. It's okay. Let it out. Let all the feelings out. Let the emotions out. Let it be what it is. It will be okay again someday. And until then, I've got you. These are the kinds of things you say to yourself when you're being the gentle parent for yourself, the parent that you maybe didn't have. And this code is designed to help work through that grief and to see, I see the joy, to see the joy or the silver lining that you had as part of the experience that you went through. The silver lining, the happy memories, the humorous memories of the person in your life that you've lost, maybe even if that's yourself. Looking back and laughing, thinking, I would never have thought I'd be sitting here, convincing my son both of them to not, go to the bathroom in the parking lot, like just because, I guess they can, they shouldn't. So you grieve all these situations that are different in your life. And I think that's the thing, is if we don't properly allow that emotional flow to happen, and if you bottle it up, then the next time something happens in your life, this death, this life death rebirth process, it hits you even harder. Okay, it hits you even harder. So it's better to deal with it. And I don't even like that word I'm hearing, but just to be there, to gently be there for your inner self. Now, what are we doing with this code? I feel like it needs to be drawn in through our chakra system. So go ahead and look at this code for a moment. I really want to take this with the formal activation. So I'm going to get my notes out. And so look at this code, and it's going to start to move. It's a living consciousness code. It moves, it dances, it pulsates, it vibrates, it whatever it starts to do. It starts to radiate different frequencies of color that are in this code that the computer program, I mentioned the keywords that went into this, but there's specific colors, there's specific sounds. You can see that here. So go ahead and see it moving. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get this, you almost look at it like you're looking at it through your third eye, like you're asking your real eyes to look through your third eye at this. That's another way. It's really weird. It's a weird way to describe it, but it works. So that what we want to do is when we close our eyes, do so now. You can almost see it right there in your third eye. So breathe it in through your third eye. Breathe it down through all of your chakras. We're going to send it down to the Earth Star chakra. That's right below you, right below the foundation of the earth, about a foot or so. And then we're going to let it sit. Take a nice deep breath. And then have it extend even deeper to the Gaia star. This is like at the center of the earth. This connects you with all of your past lifetimes through the root of Mother Earth, through her center. This connects you with all of your future lifetimes walking upon Mother Earth as well. Go ahead and bring this code back up. Breathe it in all the way up. We're going to just breathe it right up through our root chakra, helping activate us at a foundational level, helping us feel like we are whole and we're not missing anything from our lives, whether it's a person or any experiences. Go ahead and let it sit at the root chakra there for a moment. Go ahead and pull it on up, all the way up. We're going to pull it up through our sacral chakra. Let it invigorate that deep connection space. Let it heal up any wounding that we might have in that place where we connect deeply to another person. Bring it on up through our solar plexus. Breathe it on up through into your heart space. Up past your throat chakra, allowing yourself to cry, to scream, to yell if you need to whatever you need to do to work out your emotions. Don't hold it back. Breathe it on up through into your third eye. Meeting that space again. And then finally breathe it one more time all the way up to your crown chakra. And then with your exhale, send it above your head to your higher level chakras. We have our past life chakras. We've got it's called the Soma chakra. We've got a lot of chakras. I'm learning about them. It's not important. It's telling me. Do a whole chakra class. It is commanded in the name of divine love and by the laws of the golden liquid realms and alchemical powers that the grief transmutation into joy and sense of humor activation code of awe be fully activated in each of the participants today, whether on the live stream or the replay. Activate this fully in all of the bodily chakras, all of our lower body chakras, and all of our astral body chakras that take place and reside outside of our physical body. Help activate this on our past life, present, and future lifetimes, as well as deep into our ancestral lineage. Not only should you be free from grief, but so should everyone else in your family and in your history and in your future. I ask that this be done now and in all aspects of existence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go ahead and open your eyes again. Have your eyes meet the code once more. Lovely. I'm going to take a little pause here. I'm going to stop the share. Welcome back. Drink lots of water during these activations, you guys. I really probably don't stress that enough because it's a couple sessions in. But you're gonna feel a little more dehydrated because when you're working through these blockages in your human body, you're using the fluids in your body to do so. So you may actually go to the bathroom a little bit more often. Sorry, it's nighttime. But part of that waking up and going to the bathroom more often is being able to remember your dreams a little bit more, and you get visitations from your masters and your guides and your ancestors. After you're doing these activations, you can get visitations in your dreams. And if you're grieving over a loved one and you can happen to have that visitation in your dream, it would be just awesome. It would be amazing. A lot of times that's very supportive for working through that process and that journeying through grief. There we go. Say ah together. So I wanted to touch on a little bit, it just so happens that yesterday, at some point during the day, one of the spiritual teachers that I have energetically connected with by watching YouTube videos or reading his book is Ram Dass, and he transitioned yesterday. And I had such agitation. I really wanted to do this live stream yesterday. I had such intense agitation that I was unable to do it. Everything in my universe was preventing me from doing it yesterday. Like my hair was freshly blow dried. I was like I wanted to do this live stream. Like hair matters. But it just didn't occur. It didn't happen. And then after I do my meditations in the morning, I check in on Facebook and get some news, not always through Facebook, but come on, it alerted me of this occurrence, that he died at age 88. It's an epic age to die, by the way. I guess if I could ask for it, that'd be a really sweet one. 88, I think I would be just fine if I made it right to there. Oh my, that means about half my life is almost over. Not quite. Anywho, he transitioned, and in the past, and I'm not closely connected to him. He's a spiritual teacher. I've listened to the YouTubes. He's what some people would consider a guru, an example to live by. I'm somebody that has a lot of wisdom that's connected to those realms of wisdom that are coming through. And so there's been times previous to where I'm at right now where I would feel some sense of loss when that occurred. And it was before I really understood the cycle of death and then the process of rebirth, like actual death. I'm not just talking about the hero's journey and our archetypical, while we're living process of dying and creating ourselves anew. I'm talking about the actual process. And I've done a lot of reading on the life between lives and what our spirit encounters after we leave our human body before we come into another human body. And so it's been very helpful for me to get over the fear that I have of death. I still don't want my family members to die. That really sucks. But it's almost like I don't fear death anymore. And I also don't want to do that to my family members, but there's not the fear there. There used to, it's okay. Something amazing is going to happen. You just go and you go do more amazing, awesome stuff without this body that you have. And maybe you go into a body that doesn't work as well as the one you currently have. Ever think about that you might want that experience in the next lifetime? So just be really super grateful for your experience, no matter what you have, because your next experience is going to be different. That's some lesson right here. But this one, after Ram Dass passed away, and I could feel in the collective when I tuned into that there's a lot of people that are really that maybe they haven't. It's interesting because the teachings that the energy of his teachings, it's different than the energy that I picked up on from some of the collective, and they were mourning this, and it's right before Christmas, and and there was that energy surrounding it, and I'm like, what are these people thinking? um, you know, he's off to his next adventure. Like maybe he's, you never even know. Like maybe he's living half of the next adventure already, because our souls are really, really cool. They're really cool things. They can do a lot of things that I don't think most of us realize they can do. So I want to share this. Let me share this one as I'm talking to you, so that not that we can go faster, but try to keep these live streams at a decent time so you guys can do the activation and go enjoy your evening, or wherever you're at in your day when you're watching this. Okay, so this one is called the Idolatry Imprint Matrix Multidimensional Removal Code of Awe. A lot of times I'll do the removal code first, and then I'll do an activation code, but they're only linked situationally today. So I really wanted to activate that one, the grief transmutation code. I wanted to activate that one, that process in us, because also there was the part that came through on the channeling about the death and the rebirth process, and it blended in so nicely to this topic here. So this is any time in our life, this code, this idol, when we have an idol, when we idolize somebody, we put them up on this pedestal, they're an idol, and especially if they're a living human person, that's very challenging, and that's very, you're just not like, you're not supposed to do that. And the reason why is because we need to be our own idols, okay? And we can, in ways, idolize or respect and honor. When I think of an idol, I think of the statues that I have of Saint Germain or Kuan Yin or Isis or Thoth or Green Tara. I have all these statues throughout my office. And these are idols to me. These are people that I will come to and I will bow to and I will meditate in front of, to share their energy and to invoke them in that experience. But I don't do that with living people. And I feel like even if somebody's not consciously doing it, when they have this deep connection and they really feel the grief when a certain person transitions that has been a spiritual teacher or a guru in some way, then you're getting borderline into this idolization. And we just really want to remove that, because we are the idol. We should idolize ourselves. Oh, I need to hear this conversation, not just say it. So I'm going to read a little bit more about what this code, how Yvonne describes this code. Whenever you see someone as an idol, disappointment comes, as what you project is an expectation of grandeur that no one will be able to fulfill. When you expect much from others, when you demand them to deliver to you wisdom, understanding, money, or things, then you can benefit from using this code. It is helpful for narcissism, self-righteous persons, and people who tend to blame others or who expect to be rescued by the churchman, religion, or a deity from their self-created misery. This code is helpful for anyone who doesn't recognize that as an individual, we are 100% responsible for our creation. It's a meditation in and of itself. So go ahead and look at this code if you haven't been already. Go ahead and look at it. Let it start activating before your eyes. That's really what you're doing. You don't even need, you don't even need the commands. The activation happens just by looking at it. That's why I say to people, if you feel moved by these codes and you feel that energy, take a screenshot and use it as your screensaver. Okay, like you can look at it, and anytime. I've had the same one on my iPad for a while, and I need to switch it out. I've been failing to switch it out, but it helps me tune into what that code is and to bring that energy into my life. So feel free to use these codes as daily reminders even. This one here, you are 100% responsible for your creation. And getting rid of the blame or the assumption that anybody else is very important in our lives. Oh, I'm seeing so many different colors coming out now. These lighter pink colors. Maybe coral is a better way to describe it. Go ahead, and this time with the removal codes, I like to bring them in through our crown chakra. So we're going to do that in the same way where we breathe it in, but in this way, it's going to come in through our crown chakra, and it's going to cut any attachments on our chakra systems on the inside. We'll still meet it with the earth chakras below our feet and bring it back up. But I wanted to give you that heads up. So go ahead and have a good look at it. Look at it through your third eye with your eyes open. I know it's just activate it. Just do it. This is a way that you flex those third eye muscles. We're like at the sixth chakra workout session right now. So really start looking at this code through your third eye, because I want you to close your eyes and you'll see it in your third eye, and then you'll inhale it through your crown chakra. So go ahead and do that now. Close your eyes and then inhale through your crown chakra. Send it all the way down, and this code is actively removing any attachments we have on our crown chakra, our third eye chakra, our throat chakra, in our heart chakra space, in our solar plexus, sacral, or root chakras. Send it down to Mother Earth. This code removes all unhealthy cords or attachments originating from our chakra system, moving outward to any person, guru, teacher, master, deity, anyone that is not ourself. Any old partners, any old relationships. Sometimes we can idolize these things like nobody will ever live up to it. We want to cut those cords right now. This code is sitting down at the center of the earth, and it's activating other people who are walking on this earth. It's working on them right now to help them remove the cords of attachment to the idols that they have in their life. So you doing the healing work wherever you are is working like a grid, like it radiates outward. Please take a moment and send this code outward underneath your feet. Go ahead and exhale out forcefully. And then inhale it in, up through all of your chakras and around your outside of your body. It's going to go up internally and outside of you. Inhale now. And it sort of comes up and feels an egg-shaped space around you. And this is getting all of your chakras. Chakras that connect you up to your past lives, to experiences that you had in idolizing these individuals in past lives that have come up again. It's time to cut those cords. This helps us so we can see us for who we are. We can work with those I am affirmations from the previous session, knowing that we are creators, we can be, and we are, and I am everything that I desire. Go ahead and open your eyes. Whew. Very bright when I open my eyes. Very bright code. These are the removal codes. The commands, I felt a little bit different on them. They're ones that you just let them keep working. You let them keep moving through your aura space. So, so beautiful. I have to do a few ahs afterwards. I really do. It helps. So go ahead, and if you need to make some ah sounds, please feel free. There's one more class after this. If you're wanting more code of ah activations, I actually am hosting an 11-week series in my private group on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you're interested in my private group, there is a membership fee. It's one time, and it's going up. It's going to increase. And so it's $111 right now to join for a lifetime membership. And after 2020, it'll be $155. So this is the time to join. I'm putting a bunch of new offerings into the group. And so I've been very much encouraged by my energetic guides that take care of my prosperity so that I can continue to do these types of live streams as much as possible to say, hey, we need to increase that. So if you have any desire to extend your knowledge of the Akashic records, soul contracts, dreams, the codes of awe, these are all subjects that are going to be found in my Facebook group, and it's called Akashic Alchemy Academy. So please reach out to me if you have interest in that. If you're watching this on Teachable, you can still join that group, as well as I'm going to be putting up a couple more Code of Awe courses on Teachable throughout 2020. They're not there yet, but they will be probably by midway through the year at the latest. So you'll be able to do that if you would rather stick with me on Teachable. It's been a pleasure. We've got one more session as part of these 12 codes of December. And that will be coming to you after Christmas. I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to even try to stay completely off of social media and whatever, my phone, for the next 2 days, maybe even 3 days. I think so. I think the 27th is going to be our lucky day to finish this series up. We'll be doing 3 Code of Awe activations. So please hydrate in preparation for that. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.